Good morning. All right. Well, big day for NVIDIA, semiconductors, maybe the market. We'll see. So we were looking for a turn day. We got a turn day. Look at a few different ETFs here. So starting with the Dow, everybody looks at, and the theme was, hey, this thing needs to create support because there's nothing to the left other than subjective reference points like moving averages like a 20 MA. Yeah, we can look over here, this gapped up and okay, we can call that some kind of support, right? That it gapped through, which typically isn't the case where you have a pullback to this extent and then you gap through resistance. Well, we called it an igniting gap. Of course, this was on after the election results and up and away, and now we've got this pullback. So as we look at different indices, different time frames, of course, condensing data on higher time frames, you're going to get fewer pivots. So ideally, from an intraday trading point of view, the 60 or 65 minute creating a pivot, which it did here at that minor support, and then it gaps down yesterday. Okay, fine. That's good, actually. We talked about this, whether it was last week or this week. I had mentioned that we want some kind of a range expansion bar. It could be a bottoming tail bar. It could be a gap down that then rallies from that gap down. That's what happened yesterday in the Dow. So this is one down day, lower highs, lower lows, at a subjective reference point, signaling that it should go back up. Where is it now? As much as we can see pre-market with the Dow, one is the diamonds, the ETF, we can see it is up a little bit. At one point, it took out the high. So pre-market, it's triggered the buy. Where do we put a stop in a situation like this? Well, you can say it's under the prior bar's low. Typically, in this market, over the last few years, that doesn't work out so well. You get whipsawed. So what do you do? Well, you could just pick an arbitrary amount, twice the stop point, whatever that would be, putting it down here. It's kind of a difficult place to put, meaning there's nothing here to the left. You got this gap that's unfilled. So how do you do it? So you could go with the range of the bar and go that range under here. It's arbitrary, but just based on patterns. I'm just talking about this particular setup right now. So twice this bar's range, putting it down there with the shares, your position size accordingly. Or that would just be like, I'm just buying it at the open if it takes out the high. Where am I going to put my stop? That's one thing to do. Or you could say, you know what? I'm not so sure, with this one bar reversal here. And so in the intro slide, I said it created support. What should the plan be now? The plan should be buy the dip. This isn't an uptrend. Buy the dip to where? Anywhere inside this bar, maybe slightly below it. Of course, with the appropriate pattern. If you're looking intraday from a daily time frame, your only choice is buy it above the high, give it some stop you believe it will be enough, share size it accordingly. Those intradays, like buy the dip. We have a signal that says buy the dip, and then we'll look at other markets. And then you need the appropriate pattern, whatever the time frame is that you're looking at. Spiders. We got a turn day. It gapped down. It stopped at resistance. We've got an unfilled gap. Where is it now? It's already traded above that day's high. There's an unfilled gap over here. You can just do this, duplicate that. And it's like, okay, that's a resistance area up there that's going to have to be dealt with. So you take that. Can it get through it? Well, it's in an uptrend. What? Come on. Why can't I grab that? Anyway, temperamental software. Anyway, you got an unfilled gap up there. That's going to be your reference point of resistance when it gets up there, and we'll all see how it deals with it. Sometimes e-signal sucks, but not as bad as TradeStation. That thing's a piece of shit, Alex. Alex and I love to jab each other. Those of you that are wondering what we're talking about here. I've been using e-signal for, I don't know, 25 plus years. He's been using that, you know, brain damage program. I used TradeStation many years ago. It was just a resource hog. Started with a platform called Supercharts and eventually evolved into TradeStation. It's good for back testing and that kind of stuff. But as far as working like a normal Windows program, meaning, right click, open up, a thing, go find stuff. It's just overly complicated. Anyway, we have fun in the green room, like, jabbing each other, but it's all in jest and having a good time. So 3-bar reversal, gap down reversal. What do? Buy the dip. Right? We've got a signal here that it should go up. Now, news aside, NVIDIA, yada, 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 which NVIDIA had a great day yesterday. A lot of semiconductors look like garbage. You can take a look at here, they broke down, but they look like they're going to try and go up. So there are semiconductors like MRVL that look good. NVIDIA looks good. And there's others like AMAT that just looks god awful. So, you got to pick and choose. But we got reversals, in different markets. Qs, 3-bar reversal, buy the dip. There's an unfilled gap up here. It's questionable. Look, with NVIDIA earnings today, odds are this isn't going to likely continue to go up very far. Maybe it fills the gap. It's moving down a little bit. It got above that, should provide some support. So it's not an amazing setup, but it's one in which, for an active trader, the bias is buy the dip, the appropriate pattern. Mid caps, we got reversals everywhere. Right? So 65-minute chart, reversal into resistance. Maybe it comes down, maybe 50%, maybe, somewhere in here. With a bias, if it comes down in here, if it does, look for an appropriate pattern to buy the dip. If it should go sideways, that obviously would mean that demand is strong because it's not dipping. It's going sideways. Right? You don't need a PhD in technical analysis to understand that things that correct sideways are showing relative strength at resistance. And demand is strong, and odds are it's going to go up. If it forms a V-top and it pulls back, that doesn't mean buyers won't show up, but they're less confident to buy at resistance, and they're going to buy the dip. And then we'll see if it dips and turns up. This is the essence of, say, I don't know what this is going to do, but it's the essence of a head and shoulders top that's making a bottom. Right? It's going down, and it goes further down on less momentum. It has a strong rally, and traders buy the dip, and then it breaks the neckline and it goes up. Right? Now, you can go buy an Ichikumi cloud or some package of indicators with proprietary settings, or you can just use a little common sense, which is what we like to do. But this is what's going on right now. And you know what? If at the end of the day it's a red bar that closes under here, buying the dip didn't work. Boo-hoo. Right? So we're going to see what's going to happen. IWM. Stronger pullback. Gap down. Reversal. Someone bought the dip down here into this gap area. So it's created this support. It's at the top of the range today. Biotechs have been decimated, which is a large part of this index. Financials got a little weaker yesterday. That was a little bit of a surprise in up market that some of the financials got a little weaker. You can see XLF, gap down under that base, but it didn't go down very far. It held at those pivots. So, but it's a little extended. It doesn't mean it's going to break down, but it's something we're going to keep an eye on. It's gapping up a little today, so it's just in a trading range, slopping around. Regional banks got a little weaker. Still okay. It's in an uptrend. We looked at SMH, tech index. They bought the dip. unfilled gap up above. Kind of just a trading range going on there. Biotech's decimated on the selection, Trump selection, RFK. I'm looking forward to this with great hopes for the future that something truly happens and the swamp can be drained. And you know what? This government is bloated beyond imagination. At what point does this country, take the gas pipe where nobody wants it to buy its debt anymore? I don't know. There's hope anyway. RTX, retailers pulling back into the unfilled gap, bottoming tail bar. This gapping down, Target gapping down today. Well, you let people steal your stuff, how you can make money letting people steal your stuff. Anyway, all right. So futures, let's take a look at interest rates are up here a little bit. So that's not a great thing for the markets, but they're up here a little bit. They're in a trading range. Ideally, we'd see interest rates pull back a little bit. The dollar, I think, was up a little bit. I moved some stuff around. Where did I put that? Inflation. Down here. The dollar. Oh, it's a strong uptrend and it's gapping up here today. So interest rates and the dollar gapping up. The markets, that kind of makes the markets a little iffy, but hey, let's see if they roll back over. Meaning, can we get the intermarket relationships aligned ideally where, maybe the dollar pulls in a little bit, interest rates pull out a little bit, and, the markets continue to find buyers on the dip and, it moves up. Where's it going to move up to? Well, you got that unfilled gap up there. So we'll see how it deals with it. It's not a no-brainer setup, but it's better than it has been the last couple of days. Let's say that from a daily chart perspective. Transports pulled back. And so everything pulling back here a little bit. We'll see how they hold up or the lack thereof. So SPX, obviously yesterday was strong and to move up. And usually on this wider type of day there, you're going to get an inside day, some backing and filling. Again, we shall see. That's where the strikes were this morning. Gave them a little extra room. By no means should prices come back down here. Let's see if that moved a little bit. 58.60. Yeah, it came down 58.55, which is better. It's under the low. And 59.55. Obviously, that's going to come down too. It was higher. Came down quite a bit for not moving very much. And it's a volatile. It's where they are. All right, so into the unfilled gap, down below the lows, good places for them to be. Assess how things shape up in the morning. These are our starting points, and so just for now, this is subjective, but this is how we look at things. I'm just eyeballing about the halfway mark within that wider range bar and this 3-bar reversal there. So buying the dip down toward 5,900, right? I know it's a subjective, reference point, but it's a whole number. Usually at the whole number, you've got some decent open interest, which will provide some support. So we can take a look at that. 5,900, not huge, but we'll see. So sometimes it dips underneath it, but what we look for, our factory work is for the open and close to stay in the upper half and ideally in the upper third. So the bias is to buy the dip. Even if it dips down, of course we wait for the appropriate pattern on the intraday time frame of choice. So looking at this bottoming tail bar, and look, you can see the pivot on the 5-minute chart right there. It's below 5,900, but that is where the ideal place, right, where buyers would step in and move that down a little bit. You can see right there. So we're looking to the left, and that pivot down there, and this higher one, I wouldn't be so concerned if it broke that, but we'll see. If it holds this area, of course, I would be more bullish. So there you have it. Let's buy the dip. Let's see if semiconductors find a little legs today. Financials can hold up after their little dip, because we want to see the financials do well. And we'll see how it all comes together. Bitcoin's up again, pushing up to new highs. And I suppose, unless it violates a prior day's low on a closing basis, there's little reason to think it won't eventually get to 100,000 and have a big event, so to speak. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, we have buy setups all over the place. We didn't get caught up in that Trump euphoria at the high. Uh, Let's do what we always do. And with a lot of these climbos also, I'm selling put spreads around them that are working out. Raul, T-Fin, I know he loves buy setups. Light volume. See how my eye immediately went to all these spots. Not bad. Not it's the pattern is fine with a bullish weekly monthly. Yeah, I got a lot of buy setups here today. I'll show you mine when I get to it. Alpha Lima, sure, that looks good. I like that one a little better than the other one, kind of an A/B test. I like this gap down and more potent reversal on the support right here. I like this inverse head and shoulder on the 15-minute. Let me do alarms here first. Khaki. I see one print up here, set my alarm off, but khakis and ba and I think, what is it, Deltas? Yeah, these are the three military contractors I'm watching. Stoled buy setup, deep retracement, so I do not expect a new high. Look how it went sideways there. That would be a good target area, right? 146. Riot alarm, we're already in it. A put spread. Some of these are moving up with Bitcoin being up. Wolf, we have a put spread. Nice pre-market strength. Massey. Massey alarm. This one's, I think, more for put spread. I don't think it's going to rip. Microchip, another weak one, semi. I got an alarm there, so it's right now, it's a 3-bar reversal. It's better than a 1-bar reversal. So I got an alarm right over here at 65. That was stalled. We just talked about flex tape, another buy setup, 3-bar turn. So this was in our weekend letter, and I revised the entry yesterday, and too bad it didn't trigger yesterday. The entry was 37.67. Look at that. We missed the entry by 5 pennies. Otherwise, I'd be selling half right at the open here. I don't know what's happened, but that's a beautiful gap there. Mitzi alarm, beautiful buy setup. Again, we do these MT lives. All right, market falling a little harder right now. The biggest ugly 5 minute down bar since 8 a.m., which is good. Um, so like Greg said, if we maybe get some 1, 2, 3s on these buy setups, including this one, I would love an inside day. But we teach 8-year-old little Johnny in MT Live a retracement and reversal on support in an uptrend. Got it. And then we talk about refining it. Okay, I want a V top, not a big old rounded top. I want fluid lower low, lower high bars coming down. And then I want a potent reversal. There you go, exhibit A. It's on minor support, it's on the 20, got a gap reversal. That's beautiful buy setup. And Greg already talked about the ones here in the broader markets, but yeah, IWM, I like starting a position in this over yesterday's time. Spiders, I don't like as much. The gap, see how the fluidity of this, the lower lows, lower highs, same reversal support in the 20. So this is a superior swing to spiders. Yeah, let's go to earnings now. Yeah, we're actually we have a condor on this, and never in my wildest dreams we're short the 138. Never would have I expected this. $20 drop. I think the expected move was 14, so our 138s were fine. And I forget the upper ones, it's like 165 or something. But we only did $2 wide, so that's the saving grace of it. Yes, it's against us, but we took in 50 cents. Max loss is going to be $1.50. So we risked 3 to make 1. So I'll watch it. Other earnings here, ZTO. It's a bearish gap, but when something is down this much, look, fluid, this thing's been selling off for 8 weeks. It just has the potential for a gap reversal, a breakdown failure. So there's nothing to do right now, but I'm curious what it will do. This one is a 1, 2, 3, but at resistance. But look, it breaks out, has room. Wow, this thing's a slow mover. Whenever you see decimal points here, that just tells me it's a slow mover. But I have an alarm up here anyway at 1554. We'll see if it negates it. There's a lot of big movers here today. Look at this one. Now, I don't remember looking at this yesterday when we were looking at earnings trades. If I did, I would have been all over looking to sell a put spread on this. Of course, provided they're, liquid, good premium, how far away, same old jazz. But that's a beautiful reversal and major support. And look at the 15 minutes inverse head and shoulder. So if this were opening flat today, this would be a fantastic day and swing trade over the high, but gaps missing it. Powell, bearish gap, call spread idea. Call spread, 30-minute low. Lazy Boy, this is our resident Sammy company, Lazy Boy. Well, Sammy Boys has a nice gap, but no pattern, need a pullback. Look at the size of this gap. DLB. I'm just curious. I'm going to see what the expected move was on this. Well, the expected move in 30 days was a little over $6. The fact that it's gapping up $9 in one day is huge. TJX 117. Alex, beautiful condor setup. If there's good juice at 121 and 114. That's I got all right, let's see here. I'll put this in another window. But yeah, our flex tape is shoot. I don't like it when gaps mess us up. Hey, Cho, do me a favor. Where you're oh, you fixed it. All right, never mind. Thanks. Yeah, you gotta put your drop down to everyone. So is that maybe what caused this additional sell-off, military shenanigans? Yeah, that's very possible. All right, the TJX Condor target we talked about. Look at the size of this gap. I that's the danger of selling options on gappers. This had an expected move of 18 and it's gapping up 35. So, and the 18 again is over a 30-day period. So that is huge. But, but for earnings, this is a beautiful W bottom pattern with a little, downside shakeout there. Like that's a picture of beautiness. Wicks, big old gap. But again, if this were opening flat, awesome, awesome, awesome buy setup. Uptrend, V top, fluid bar down, minor support, range expansion engulfing bar, bullish weekly, bullish monthly, price void. In fact, Alex, didn't I have this on my core long list based on the monthly? I think I did. I gotta update my core list. I haven't done it about 6 weeks, but I'm pretty confident I had that on the core list. What a nice entry right here. Wicks right there would have been a home run core entry. Um, this is crazy behavior a day before earnings. What the heck happened yesterday? Unless maybe it was an early release. I don't know. But doing nothing now. DY. I don't see any volume. Sierra Romeo is a 1-2-3. I just don't like the fact that it's run so much, but it rested here and it's bullish weekly monthly. We'll come back to it and finally Zim. It's strong, gapping too much, nothing to do. Chevron here. Chevron, a little buy setup. SVCO, a little bottoming pattern here. What the heck is this? Silvaco? Is this a little silver stock? That looks interesting. This bottoming pattern. Look at my other computer. All right, alarms, X-ray. We shorted puts on this yesterday. And I did 3 different strikes myself. Yeah, Stoll is posted already. Looks great. You know what? This X is showing me a loss, and I'm not going to even look because I know with 100% certainty why. Because the spreads are asinine. CVS alarm. Hey, here you go. This is a 1-2-3 target 50. I don't like trading the first 5 minutes, but this looks great. Unfortunately, there's no premium. Do you like this, Greg? You love bottoming cutters.
I hate bottoming patterns. IBEX is clearing some resistance. It's it's a bigger, that's not a bottoming pattern, CVS. It's just a turn. This is a bottoming pattern, IBEX.
This?
Yes, spread it out so you can see a little more. It's got a base that's a year long.
Well, I don't call it bottoming pattern when you got a rising 50 for 6 months, but it's a gap breakout. So here's um here I guess
Buy a little, Alex. Buy the dip, buy a little.
here
I
look it
mean,
up.
look, the average, it's not huge, but I'm just eyeballing it. The average is around 150,000, give or take.
All right,
Buy a
right.
dip. If it dips into the gap, buy it, or whatever. 20, 20, 11, the top of that base, give it, okay.
Yeah, Stoll to go. Stoll looks fantastic. Stoll looks great, Frenchie. Nice. See, that's a beautiful gap. That's not too big.
Dunking. Today's the third day up on dunking, but the only problem with that is where to put the stop. But if it dips down and fills the gap, buy it. I wouldn't.
All right, this Duncan. Yeah, it's up too much for me, but yeah, I wanted a 1, 2, 3, but yeah, I would only be interested in day trading. KKR. I like my others better, but I like the 15 gap breakout on KKR. All right, look at this mid-C coming in. All right, so Greg, this gapped over the entry, and now it's filling the gap. So let's just see if it stabilizes or if we want to buy a 5-minute high. But if it
Better watch it then.
yeah, I got it right here. But if it's coming in a little hard, but ideally, if we got a nice, buy setup and reversal right here. But yeah, I got it in that middle chart. I'll watch it. Oh, Nike alarm. This is a great example of relative weakness. We're still in it. 74.37. Wow, our X-ray doing great.
You tighten the stop on Nike yet?
Yeah, Greg, look at the text. I've just been talking about it.
I have to turn my head to do that. I could open up Zoom on the other computer.
Yeah, this is crazy up down action. Good thing our IWM didn't trigger.
Let's see if we get some stabilization at those pivots. There's three of them down there. Is it 229?
AEM up alarm. You know what? Let's I think we just sell this thing. We had a beautiful swing trade in this 80.85.
Yes, I will, Doug. Yes, I will.
Nice. Yeah, we got almost 100%. All right, let's look at our X puts now. I'm still showing a loss. 0 by 223. These guys, you just want to go out and just kick them in the teeth. Just crazy. Let's stop. 7-Eleven. Oh, what? I guess that's war related. Because man, I would not have. I would, would have predicted this nasty fall.
DRM, that's a good one to watch for a reversal in the gap fill here.
Remember that, is that I was watching? Shorted puts on that yesterday. I think I just got filled to close them. No, I didn't. Wow. I got filled on something else. It's 15 cents right now. Like 30 days out. Oh, I got filled on Walmart puts for a penny. Man, this Target is getting ready to go into the shed. And we're at our max loss. So it's just the only thing I'm waiting for is if I get a setup to to unhedge one of the sides, just to kind of reduce the loss. Sammy Boy wants to short Gato. No, I don't short Sam from square bottoms that are down from there to there. Remember, that's the day we analyzed that along with your McDonald's, and I said this one was superior. D-Dog, yeah, yeah. Well, it's not a 1-2-3 fill because a 1-2-3 has to be an inside bar, which would have been fantastic. And look at this run here. So the microscope of yesterday's bar, it's an end of day rally, but it is bullish as can be. And relative strengthening. All right, sorry, we're doing, mess here at the condo with leaks, and now another neighbor just came over. He has the same problem I have. So, all right, so, all right, Greg Mitzi, now, what do you think over this 15-minute bar, which is, well, it's not for another 10 minutes. Let's move to a 5-minute chart. I say over this. What do you think?
I think you can buy it. What to stop the swing stop?
Yeah.
I don't think you need any more confirmation.
Oh, okay. Those stoves. Yes, Sam, do you not hear us? We just posted it. All right, still the screen. Open 141.64. Yeah, same sector show. Let me look. Yeah, I'm short some puts on the sector, SLX and UE, etc. It's weaker and it's extended. I like my stole 10 times better, but a possible put spread. We're in the cycle where a lot of things don't have weeklies, but let me look. All right, so still, let me post this. So new, let me check this. But it's still a bad entry. I'd wait for pullback regardless of what tech trade it is. But let me look at 145. VIX has been on a tear here all morning too. You own 145s or 40 by 65 naked. That's just wait for a pullback. Sam is saying fizz short idea. LUV finally stopping us out. We had a half lot. Remember, I was trying to get us out break even, and it never went up that far. So we had a half lot. Love is not on the air tonight. Yeah, Arnold, yeah, I talked about it earlier. It looks great. And so you just got to tell me what time frame and what type of trade you're interested in. But because it's I talked about this 15 being that's 5 minute chart 15. This is what we call an end of day rally. Um, the 1 hour high would have been a fantastic entry. Put spread's a good idea, but I mean, it looks higher daily, weekly, monthlies. If you were just going to buy it with a stop yesterday's low, right? No, it looks great. I like it. But it's just not it's things run from 125, it's from $10. So there's no brainer entry right now, unless you just want to buy a third and look at it on the pullback. Particularly with market weak, you know, being very selective on longs. Yeah, Sam, this looks good. It's igniting on its own page. All right, I got all alarms, so let me now look at opens. Intel finally stopped out. 24. 'Intel is such a dog of the sector. Even with Biden giving them billions, they still can't make money. Riot, we're fine. Target, nothing to do right now. Wolf, I tightened it. X-ray, we're good. Let's see, 33.5. Oh, I did get filled on some. Okay, I was bidding for some, and I finally got filled. All right, 33.5. FT, I mean that I said that in the green room the day after. You know, I'm sure both sides do it, but what kind of shit they're gonna do before they leave. I think XPI is on now 1, 2, 3. If it closes like this, we sold puts for it yesterday. Let's see where that is. We got a nice profit. Still 31 cents. So X. Okay, I'm long this from Monday. I'm gonna put a order out 69.99. Wow, the bid's already 94. Yeah, I just sent it a spot 98, got filled immediately. So why on earth? What? Oh, there you are. There you are. I was going to say, why on earth would he not have to show the print? And he did. So that was me. So that one little dot was me. But yeah, looks good. Good sector turn. XME, I shorted puts. MQs are just straight down on the 5 and 15 here. Greg, are you looking at this chart the way I am?
I wouldn't even pretend to know what you think, Dan.
Possible measured move to here.
Well, it would have to close like this and then break the lows.
100%. 100%. Close like this, and then under yesterday's. Like, I don't think it has to go under all the lows. I think under the green bar I would be a start.
Right now, I'm thinking what I started with, buy the dip, and I don't have a pattern yet to buy the dip. So if you want to look at my charts, the spiders and Qs have entered the void. So which projects to the toward the low of the day, since it couldn't hold this area. Well, Qs are almost, well, to this congestion area. So your thought couldn't come into play until late today.
But without a doubt, without a doubt. I'm just looking at today's action, VIX rising, and that's what we do, right? We paint different scenarios in our head, see if they play out. Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely not saying I'm acting on it.
But this war talk has got the markets rattled, but we'll see. I mean, I can't be thinking about shorting stuff that's down several days in a row, formed a reversal day yesterday, and now, you know, buyers, I would assume buyers are going to show up unless it, you know, something nasty. It just keeps going down, and that could happen. You know, SMHs are weak. They're going to test some support here, and so I'm waiting. CRM was into it. Buyers were stepping up as it before the gap, and then as the market weakened a little more, you know, it broke down, but still the daily chart is constructive, so there's nothing wrong, and just waiting for intraday time frames to come in alignment with the daily, and that has not happened yet, so there's nothing to do. Financials are getting weaker.
Some ways ugly.
Coming into some support, so waiting.
Oh, big BGC stuffed out yesterday. I missed that. Look at that crazy tail. That's what Sam told me yesterday at lunch.
Mm. You know, we've talked this before, but you know, the angle of retracement of that wasn't constructive. It didn't mean it had to do what it did yesterday. But those kind of patterns are much better with a 3-bar reversal. But you don't know. Sometimes, you know, the market is bullish. That pattern would have went up. Now, if it can, you know, come back from this dip that it had yesterday because of the strength that it moved up from in November, and today was to form a bottoming tail bar, you know, you got to come back to these, because even though they bite you like now, you can come back to it and say, damn, I was in that thing and look at it now. It's doing great, but it stopped me out. Okay. You know, that's the way things are sometimes. But if you set an alert on that thing up near yesterday's high, let the computer watch it. And, you know, if it does come back, it'll be a fantastic setup because you'll have that range expansion bar. Yeah, exactly, Sam. You know, if it gives you a second entry, because the pattern is good, meaning, And someone might be saying, what is Greg smoking there saying this pattern is good? Look at this piece of shit, what it did yesterday. But you've got a base, you got a momentum, explosive move, you know, and here's the rub. The setup happened where there's no support. So there weren't buyers there were definitely buyers, right? And there's no doubt otherwise it couldn't form that pattern. However, there's nothing to the left. So maybe overzealous buyers, but it could have worked. You could overthink this thing into oblivion, right? But now it formed a bottoming tail bar. It came into support. That's where they felt comfortable. Or like, okay, it's pretty much not a no brainer, but buying down there, your risk is down here, makes sense. So now if this day can come back, and even if it takes a few days, and then, you get a setup where it's going to go up, this I think is something that could go considerably higher, but we don't have a pattern yet, so nothing to do. The thing to do is to set an alert. It's a tick extreme. So now, with the tick extreme, the question is, was that exhausting this move? And can it now start to rebuild a little base with things that haven't totally violated any support, like this CRM? Okay, so it's a little bit of a red day today. It went through the gap fill. It didn't violate any significant support. And if it starts to retrace back up and it can get above yesterday's close, and it's definitely going to be a buy. I was talking about Dan's BGC. No pattern, no trade. And for those that aren't aware on the system, the Zoom thing, you can pick to look at Dan's charts or my charts. I'm not certain you can look at both at the same time. But if I'm talking about something like CRM, you can click the top tab to see my charts and then go back to Dan's charts. APH is another one. It's not quite as clean as CRM. The way it came down was a little sloppy, but had the turn day yesterday. And you can see it's not getting any love today, but the daily chart is still okay. So can it get itself turned around? So what Dan mentioned before on the cues about a possible measured move lower, I get the thought. I understand based on what's happening now, but if later in the day it looks like that and buyers don't show up and it's a weak day, well then, yeah, that thought becomes, I don't know, more powerful as a potential reality. Then it's going to have to break some support tomorrow. And so if Nvidia comes out with some blockbuster earnings, which I read, what did I read? They said they're expected to be like 33 billion, but the whisper number is something more like 39 billion. And so we'll see what the number comes out. And so if Nvidia is cracking, semiconductors are going to be cracking, which means tech is going to be cracking, and there may be a lot of cracking. As if they come out with they hit those whisper numbers or beat it, well, this should be the positive reaction.
We got an upgrade, but remember yesterday? I love this pattern, wanted a 1, 2, 3.
Don, where does it say you can save the voice? I didn't know that Zoom saved the a voice file.
Yeah, that's in case you're bored at night, you can go back and listen to my jokes again. Greg, you're fine here. I got an alarm 183.
Okay.
I've still got an alarm on your day. Oh shit, Alex. Alex did that on purpose. But yeah, DAY. I haven't learned on the computer.
So there was the tick extreme before, and this is one thing to look for is that, and you can see it here on my lower right chart. There was your tick extreme, and we can put SPH, SPY over here. As things have come down a lot, and you got the tick extreme here, most times it does go make a lower low with a higher tick value, which is a display that there are fewer stocks trading on down ticks versus up ticks as it makes lower lows. So somewhere out there, there's something showing relative strength. So that leads to, okay, possibly because of that relative strength, the markets may begin to stabilize in this area. Now, the depth of retracement here, on into this bar, it is what it is. Now the question is, does it build some support area? And we talked about this. Does it form a pivot in the time frame that you're looking at? So you're going to form pivots faster on a 2-minute than a 5-minute. Does you get a retest of it? And so does it then create a pattern where a rally could start? It seems okay, unlikely, possibly because of the depth of this retracement, of course. But stranger things have happened where you get a bar like this and the next day turns into a bottoming tail bar. So whether it does that or stays down here, if it bases down here and shows an inability to go up from this point, well, then you're going to get a red bar on the daily time frame, which is going to suggest it's going to go lower. What Dan said about a measured move down into the gap fill. If NVIDIA comes out with blowing out earnings, maybe it gaps up significantly. So,
Right.
with a heavy news item coming out like that, it makes it difficult to, look at the technicals and say, I'm going to go with this at this time rather than wait for some confirmation, which for me would be a little more conservative, maybe intelligent, because hey, it could come out with earnings, either good or bad, and it could gap down. People think, oh, they can't do that again next quarter, so they sell the gap up or whatever. It's just, you got a major news item and creates that uncertainty.
Yeah, momentum definitely slowing. Q's 15-minute greater than 100%. And we got a bottoming tail. So, scalpers can now.
Buy above the high of the bottoming tail bar.
Exactly. Which, yeah, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart of the computer. It's same pattern, but just smaller time frame. But yeah, ideally we get a little inside bar. But yeah, for scalp, definitely.
GBTC has been basing all day. You can buy above the high, put a stop. You want to give it that stop below today's low or go below yesterday's low. Share size it accordingly.
HPI doing nothing but it's holding. Put spread on this yesterday. IP also holding, but doing nothing. All right, Nike's 25 cents away from my top. Not to stop, I mean target, my bad. All right, so that 5 minutes trigger didn't go very far, so.
May do a retest.
No, right. The only comment I was gonna make is, still a little tepid. It's not very aggressive yet, but still got a nice tail on the 15. But yeah, retest would be great. Wow, look at this crazy moving ribbon. Remember we thought it was bottoming over here? Where we got the 81 foots. Let's see where they're at now. Oh, we can close these at 5 cents. Let's do it. We can avoid, this was going to be an earnings trade and taking assignment. Well, not, I don't know if it was earnings, but where my stop was. But now we can close it at a nickel. So change of plan. Yeah, getting a little more confident now on the 5 minute turn here. All right, looks a lot better now. There you go. There you go. A lot better. My mic was off. I was saying I sold the dead penny high on SLX this morning. I say I'm talking about hockey. I heard some guy on the news today talking about valuations. He said the average valuation. I had so many people coming here. Said the average valuation is 1.8 billion for a hockey team. And he said some of the ones in Canada are like almost 4 billion. Crazy. But yeah, I don't know if my mic was off when I was saying the Qs was